What up, guys? It is chapter 3 day for Atomic Habits by James Clear. Before I get started, my name is James Rico. I'm a writer, director, DP, and business owner. I have specialized in music videos for the last 12 years, and you could check out the work I've done alongside of my video production team called The Real Goats at therealgoats.com. I am currently now working on writing my first feature film. So with that, I wanted to continue to learn and pick up new habits, form new habits, so I could push myself to get to that goal that I have set for myself. And it naturally came with reading. And from reading, it made me want to contribute to some of the other ideas that I have for Real Goats, which is the educational side of things. Real Goats University is something that I've also wanted to grow through time, and with patience, I'm realizing that this is a form of giving back to Real Goats University, helping review books that I'm reading that are helping me achieve the goals that I have, giving it to you guys, the filmmakers, video production team, writers, creatives, whoever, to see that it takes a lot more than just the talent to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So I'm reviewing the third chapter. The third chapter is called How to Build Better Habits in 4 Easy Steps. Okay, so just like the other day, I figured out a system for us. I'm going to time myself for 5 minutes, and what I'm going to do is just give you the chapter summary, which James Clear has done so well here in the back of the book. So these are his words, not mine. And then I'm going to go back and kind of give some highlighted things from the book and see if we can't educate ourselves, fill our minds with some good thoughts for the day, and use them as we go forward with our goals. So I'm going to set the timer, and we're going to get going. Okay, so chapter summary. A habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. What does he mean by that? Well, let's see. He describes as habits are created, the level of activity in the brain decreases. You learn to lock in the cues that predict success and tune out everything else. Habits are simply reliable solutions to recurring problems in our environment. The second thing that he wants you to remember about this chapter is the ultimate purpose of habits is to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. So he says habits reduce cognitive load and free up mental capacity so you can allocate your attention to other tasks. And then he mentions some people have this feeling of, well, habits make my life dull. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into a lifestyle I don't enjoy, and doesn't so much routine. Sorry, take this back. Basically saying that you're going to create a mundane life by creating habits, a predictable life, something that he says they make you think that you have to choose between building habits and obtaining freedom. In reality, they complement each other. Habits do not restrict freedom; they create it. Building habits in the present allows you to do more of what you want in the future. The third thing he wants you to remember about this chapter is any habit can be broken down into a feedback loop that involves 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. First, there's the cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate a behavior. Is a bit of information that predicts a reward. The second step is cravings. What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change What you crave is not the habit itself, but the change in state it delivers. Every craving is linked to a desire to change your inner state. This is an important point that we'll discuss later. Cues are meaningless until they're interpreted. The thoughts, feelings, and emotions of an observer are what transform cue into craving. The third step is response. The response is the actual habit you perform, which can take the form of a thought or an action. Finally, the response delivers a reward. Rewards are the end goal of every habit. The cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward. The response is about obtaining the reward. We chase rewards because they serve two purposes. They satisfy us and they teach us. The first purpose of rewards is to satisfy your craving. Second, rewards teach us actions are worth remembering in the future. He says the fourth thing he wants to remember about this chapter is the 4 laws of behavior change are a simple set of rules we can use to build better habits. Again, he calls it the 4 laws of behavior change. They are 1, make it obvious, 2, make it attractive, 3, make it easy, and 4, make it satisfying. So he says the 4 laws of behavior change are rules for creating good habits and breaking bad ones. You can think of each law as a lever that influences human behavior. When the levers are in the right positions, creating good habits is effortless. When they're on the wrong positions, it's nearly impossible. Remember, it's make it obvious, that's the cue. Make it attractive, that's the craving. Make it easy, that's the response. And make it satisfying, that's the reward. He says that we can invert these laws to make them learn how to break bad habits. Make it invisible, that's the cue. Make it unattractive, that's the craving. Make it difficult, that's the response. And make it unsatisfying. That is 5 minutes. The last thing I'll say about it, so I can catch up before I kind of personalize this for myself. He says, if you have ever wondered, why don't I do what I say I'm going to do? Why don't I lose the weight, stop smoking? Why do I say something is important, but never seem to make time for it? He says the answers to those questions can be found somewhere in the 4 laws. The key to creating good habits and breaking bad ones is to understand these fundamental laws and how to alter them to your specification. Every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. Your habits are shaped by the systems in your life. Okay, so how do I relate to this on my own end? How do I personalize this for myself? Well, I started thinking about it. I thought about a few things that in my life. So I'll tell you a little bit about my past. I started drinking and smoking when I was like 15 years old, and my drinking got really heavy into college, and I would drink a lot to the point where I would black out. I would also smoke and use nicotine a lot. I would chew. I didn't really smoke cigarettes, but I chewed a lot. I think I liked nicotine more than I liked the smoking habit. Smoking smelt to me, it was kind of nasty. I didn't really enjoy it. But when I did smoke a cigarette, what I enjoyed was like the head high you get from smoking. So I always liked being in an altered state of being. And this is probably about the time that I was going through early 20s, a lot of the problems figuring out how to be adult, not knowing how to cope with it, and trying to use what was the closest thing to me, which was drinking, because that's what we do. That's what we did in Kansas. We would just drink, and party. Like, that's all I knew, right? And so in college, it got a little better, but I would still drink to the point where maybe I would black out or something. And through education, through getting better mentors, through ridding myself of those people that liked doing those things, then I learned how to control it better, and I stopped doing it. I did what he said. I made it invisible. I stopped being around it so much to where it was invisible, and I stopped using it. but it would always be a problem that I dealt with most of my life, on and off, right? I never really liked weed in the beginning of my 20s, because weed would always make, here, let me go ahead and set a timer. Weed always altered my mind state to where I felt sick or something and I threw up. I had a response to throwing up. But later in my life, when I went to LA, I picked up smoking more than drinking. I hated drinking. I didn't like being hungover. I didn't like that feeling of the reward, which is being hungover. The reward is terrible. It's unattractive to me, so I stopped drinking. But I would drink occasionally to just be tipsy, but I would smoke more. And then as I started to hang around people that smoked all the time, I wanted to smoke all the time too. So, but as my daughter was getting ready to be born in the last 3 years, in 2021, I was really trying to rid my habit of something that I started getting addicted to, which was smoking weed and being creative was something that I was connecting. I was thinking every time I smoke weed, I'm more creative. So that was a nice reward. I wanted to smoke because it made me feel more creative. And I love what I do. I love filmmaking. I love being creative. I love coming up with cool ideas. So to me, that was an attractive thing. As I thought about it more, I realized I don't want my daughter to see me smoking. I don't want her to, I don't want to be disoriented when I'm with her, because I want to protect her. So the fact that I was afraid and had fear for her life caused me to stop wanting to smoke. And I chose certain times to smoke when they're all in bed, and I late at night I would smoke outside. And again, I would have so much paranoia of me not being in the right state of mind. So I found it very unattractive to be high. And I would have more anxiety about, is she going to be okay? I would have more anxiety about my family. Are they going to be okay? What do they think about me? And I was thinking more directly about my family. So the reward started to shift from me enjoying it for the creative reasons, and it started being more negative because it would make me afraid for my family. So I just ultimately stopped smoking. And at the time, I don't know that's what's happening to me in terms of how I'm forming my habits. But as I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, that's what really happened. And it's similar with now. I don't like to drink because I don't like to be intoxicated. I don't want to drink and drive. I don't want to be intoxicated to the point where I can't help her if something goes wrong. So when I drink now, it's like, okay, I'll have a drink or two, and I won't even get close to being tipsy, drunk or tipsy. It's more of I enjoy the drink. And that's slowly going away too, because I think it's just a bad habit for my health through time. So I think if I really wanted to stop drinking, I would think of it like I want to maintain my health, and it's more for a health reason, and a healthy person doesn't drink often. I'm trying to get through this quickly. I got 1 minute left. Let me see here. I wrote some of these ideas down. The next biggest thing that I wanted to do, and I've been wanting to do, is create a habit of writing. And writing is something that has been a hard habit to form. And after reading it, it makes me understand that, okay, how can I shape writing for me to be a reward so that it's, what does he say here? He says, let me just repeat it real quick. Make it obvious, right? Okay, so the cue, make it obvious. I want to write, make it attractive. If I write, then I'm one step closer to achieving the goal that I have. Make it easy. Okay, let's just write 2 pages. That's it. I just need to make 2 pages today, and that's fine. Make it satisfying, the reward. I'm seeing more and more my goal be achieved. And that is something that I started to do through time, and have to realize the timer's going to go off. So we're right at 13 minutes, about to be 14. So I'll wrap this up real quick. So what I realized with my writing was that as I forced myself to write more and more, I broke through the habits of fear of this is going to take forever. I broke through that fear of what is it going to be about? I don't know the full story. I'm trying to discover it. And the book that helped me get through a lot of that was Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And that book helped me get through all this self-doubt. And I made that a habit. I would read that book, right, every day. And it would give me a reminder to say, okay, art is something that is unknown, and that this is the process. You have to act. You have to actually do something. You can't just think about it because you're overthinking, and that's what a lot of us do. We overthink, and to the point where we don't act. We don't move forward. And so again, I started to realize that. I forced myself to read. I would force myself to make videos like this, and there were like small rewards for accomplishing something in that day prior to me writing. So no matter what, I got some work done in that day, and whatever I end up writing, if I spent the rest of my day for maybe three to 6 hours of writing, if I only wrote a couple of pages, then I was accomplished. I accomplished so much that day, and through time, the rewards were seeing my script get longer and longer and longer. There were days where I'd write 5 to 10 pages, and some days I would only write one or half a page or one scene, but I would develop it, and it would always feel like a great reward. Okay, we're at 15 minutes and 45 seconds. So hopefully you kind of are finding your own. Again, rewatch this to kind of hear the points. This is such a great book. It's helping me. And I'm going to keep trying to figure out how to make some of the things that I want to do, the habits I want to form. I want to, quickly I'll say, I want to maintain my healthy lifestyle. You know, I want to stop giving myself negative energy, so I figured out how to do that. And I want to continue my writing habit, because as I see my story grow, I'm realizing that I'm a really great writer, and it's fun to do regardless of how long it's going to take me. This is the process, and through time, I'm going to get better and better at it. So until next time, happy 4th of July. Thank you so much for watching. You can check out this live again on our playlist. I made a playlist this morning, Atomic Habits Reactions. So go check those out. I have 3 of them up there right now. And then we'll continue to do this. So good luck today. Be safe. Don't blow off your hand, because my wife said last year, she's a doctor, she's a surgeon. She said last year 5 people came in with missing hands. So today, let's not make it your day to lose a finger or maybe the entire thing. All right. So until next time, appreciate you guys tuning in.